Hello, it's me, Coco. The other day, somebody wrote a comment in one of my videos and asked me what changes I'm implementing in my life to be more sustainable, and I thought it was the perfect idea for today's video. I think it's really important to note here that I don't have all the answers. I don't have my lifestyle perfectly figured out, but I am in the process of transitioning, and I'm hoping that with little changes implemented over a certain period of time, I will have a fully sustainable lifestyle with very minimal waste. I'm gonna roll through these a little bit by using the popular famous R's. I grew up learning the 3 R's: recycle, reduce, and reuse. But did you know that there are more R's that can help you lead a more sustainable lifestyle? I'm gonna use these R's to kind of structure how I've been making changes in my life. We're gonna start with the first one that's new: refuse. That means not taking anything that you don't want or need. One thing that I found very helpful is by keeping a reusable bag. I got this maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. It's a really great reusable bag that kind of folds in on itself. I just keep it in my purse all the time so that I never get caught without my reusable bag. And that way I can refuse plastic bags and then also reusable bags that some stores are carrying now. I got my own. This is the biggest way that I've changed my life recently, which is by refusing to buy new things if I don't need them. There are a couple things that I have been wanting for years. After thinking about them and saving up a little bit of money to buy them, I realized that I need to live my values and see if I can get them for free or for cheaper used. I got my high-speed blender off of Craigslist at a deep discount, and I use that thing daily. It's probably one of the best things that I ever bought, and I'm happy to say that no new blender was manufactured because I wanted it. My newest acquisition I got actually for free from Craigslist, and it's this little vacuum. I really needed a vacuum. It's one less vacuum that ended up in the trash and one less vacuum that was made just for me, which I don't need a brand new vacuum. And then another way that I contribute to this is actually giving away things that I don't want anymore instead of throwing them in the trash. I'm a part of some sharing economy gifting communities. I talk about it a little bit more in this video here. I find them really useful for not just getting what I want in a sustainable way, but also getting rid of the things that I don't need anymore, but somebody else might want. I've given away all sorts of things, from hair dye to clothes to household gadgets and things like that. And I'm happy to know that my stuff isn't rotting in a landfill and that somebody's putting it to good use. The next R is reduce. I've already talked about how I reduce the amount of stuff that I buy, but I also consider my vegan diet a way to reduce waste in the food system. But don't vegans need their protein, you might ask? Well, vegans get their protein in a lot of different ways, including from tofu to black beans. These are some bulk cooked black beans that we made earlier today, and we put in this reusable jar. And this is some tofu I got from the store. I know it comes in plastic packaging and I'm not happy about that, but I'm still having trouble finding a place that sells it in bulk. Not only have I cut down on buying new things, but I've also been trying to cut down on things that are packaged in plastic, which is a lot of things. Sometimes it's really difficult to avoid, like in the case of this tofu. The next R is reusing. That means that you can find different ways to repurpose and reuse things that you might otherwise throw away. For example, plastic containers that your food comes in, I wash them out and I'll reuse them as food storage instead of recycling them right away. When it gets to the point where I think it's time to throw it away, I'll rinse it out and throw it in the recycling. Another example of reusing things is when I upcycled my old t-shirts to make a bunch of face masks. I'll put the video of me doing that here. And then repurposing things, like I read about somebody who cuts open the envelopes, all the envelopes that they get in the mail, to make a piece of paper, and then they use a bulldog clip to save it and then use that for scratch paper. There are tons of different ways that you can reuse things. Just be creative and you will find something that works for you. The next R is to recycle, which I think is pretty obvious, I hope, for most people. The most important thing that you need to know about recycling is how recycling is done in your area. I would recommend doing some research and finding out what kinds of materials are accepted in your area and how they want them prepared. Some places really want their recyclables clean. Other places, apparently, they don't need to be completely clean. My tofu comes in plastic, but fortunately, this is one of the very few things that you can buy at Trader Joe's that actually you can recycle. The next one is repair, and this helps your things last a lot longer than they normally would. So for example, here is a winter boot of mine. I got these way before I went vegan. I think they've had maybe 4 winter seasons so far. Instead of throwing them out and buying new boots every year, I preferred to actually get these resoled. So this is not the original sole here. You can tell it's been redone here. And it helps the boots last a lot longer, and I cut down on shoe waste. Other examples, of course, are to repair rips in your clothing, or you can do the good old just think about doing it for a long time and don't actually fix it. Okay, the next one is to rot. What does that mean? It means compost your food. You might have some food scraps or leftover food when you're done eating, and the best thing to do with these is to put them together and compost them. You can do it yourself or find a place that accepts compost and they'll do it for you. And this is really great because they make the food into the compost, they give it to the farmers, and then it goes back to the land to fertilize the very food that you're going to eat. We've started collecting our food scraps. This is something that I did when I was living in South Korea and in Germany and in Macedonia. For some reason, it's just now kind of catching on in the US. Unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, our community isn't accepting compost donations at the moment, but we're still being really mindful of what we're throwing away. And for a while, we were still collecting it just to keep up the habit. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to this when things kind of loosen up a little bit. The next one is to regrow. You might not know this, but there are many vegetables that you can regrow right in your kitchen from your food scraps. You can regrow lettuce, potatoes, green onions. I've been regrowing green onions for a while now. You can regrow them maybe like 3 or 4 times before they start to lose some flavor, but it's a really great way to really maximize the resources that went into those first green onions that you bought, and then it also saves you money. The very last thing that I would say that I've been doing is reviewing. So a really great way to see what kind of waste you're making is to actually look in your trash and see what kinds of things that you're throwing away. So for example, there were a lot of paper towels in our kitchen trash, and I realized we don't have to use paper towels at all. And I replaced the paper towels with some kitchen cloths, and now our kitchen waste is mostly food scraps and packaging, which we're trying to cut down on. So I'm also seeing all of that packaging in the trash, and right now we're looking at what kinds of places we can buy things in bulk using reusable containers, and I'm looking forward to implementing that change in the very near future. Thank you for watching this video. What kinds of things have you changed in your life to make your life more sustainable? Leave it in the comment box below and let's see if you can teach me a couple things. Like this video if you think that we all have a part to play to make the world a little bit more of a livable place, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me about sustainability, awareness, discipline, and all the fun stuff that goes along with it.